Here we have the 2012 Lego Winter Village Cottage, set number 10229, and I already have some really cool ideas on how to modify this particular building. Quite simply because they honestly pretty much had the building finished already, they just forgot to add the rear wall and some of the roof details. My initial plan of attack with this building is pretty straightforward, because the way that they built the building, if you look at the sides and you look at the front, there's not a lot of greebling sticking out and away from the building. So all I am simply going to do is I need to remove one row of studs on the inside, and I'm just going to add the wall on the bottom floor, and then we're going to finish off the roof detail. Now, in order to do that, of course, we have to pop the whole building off this base, and we're going to get started right now. So I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and rip all the roof details off first, or the roof itself anyway, because I was going to have to modify it anyway, and I thought, you know what, I'll just get it out of the way. And then I started with taking some of the bricks that stuck to the base plate itself and putting them back on the building so I didn't forget where they went. Now, to get that initial row of tile in the kitchen, what I did is the stove that was in the kitchen was built on a 2x4 brick. So I just simply modified it, stuck it on a 2x3 brick instead, so that way I could scoot all the kitchen cabinets over a total of one stud, which gave me that space that I needed to build the wall on the back side of the kitchen. And then for the living room area, all I did is I removed the 1x1, or I'm sorry, 1x2 and 2x2 tiles and replaced them with 1x2 and 1x1 tiles. And that gave me all the space I needed to be able to finish the back wall. Now, what I simply did is I just tried to mimic the front as much as possible. The only thing I had to get creative on was honestly in the kitchen, and with that I didn't really have to get crazy creative with that anyway. The only thing I did add that you didn't have on the front of the building is I did add a porch light, because I felt that being that it was the back door, it should have a porch light so you can walk over to the little shed that comes with this particular set. But on the other half of the build, it is just an exact duplication of the front half of this build, and by doing it that way, it really made the building flow, and it looks really good. It's nice and even, and it matches really well, which it should, because it's an exact replica of the front side of the building. On the chimney, the set comes originally with a lighted brick, and I did leave the lighted brick in there, even though I do fully intend on lighting this up with LEDs at a later date. What I'm doing right here is, because once I get everything together, I still want this to be modular. So I had to rip off the second floor because there's like a little loft bedroom in this particular build. So I had to rip all that off, and then I just simply replaced it with a bunch of tiles underneath it. That way, when I do pull it off, it's really easy to access back into the kitchen area, so you can have that playability feature once it is back together. Now we have maybe another 10 seconds or so of this footage, so I just want to point out real quickly that this was roughly 3.5 hours of me messing around and getting all this together, trying to get the parts together to do all this, and then I was able to condense it down to about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so I was pretty happy with that. Now with the roof, again, all I had to do is just finish the back edge on the one piece, and then on the side, I just had to build a mirror duplicate of the front piece, and I didn't feel it was necessary to put that window on the back, as I felt it already looked good on the front, so I left it off the back side. But all in all, again, very, very simple modification, and I was really happy with the outcome. As you can see here, it looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to physically try and get some lights on this to make it look even better at some point in the future, but for right now, I just want to get all these buildings done. The only downside is the back door is green. It really bugged me, but unfortunately I just didn't have any red doors to use. But maybe at some point I'll buy one, because I think that all the doors should be red. Kind of like I did on the shed here, because the shed is finished as well, but I did cheat. I have to admit, if you didn't notice, that door right there is a vintage Lego door. And I have plenty of those old red vintage Lego doors, so the size of the hole was perfect for the vintage doors. So I just popped that in there and made it work. I can't wait to get building on the next one of these, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it.